139,433,000 square miles of water on Earth. And this marine phenomenon chose this spot. As species huddle together in the tributaries, feeding and hulking up during the Louisiana winter. Most of us have only heard the fish stories. 50-inch slobs, they say. 20 a day to the boat, they say. It's a deep southern labyrinth that's been a word-of-mouth destination for ages. That's because this place doesn't come easy. It's isolated, unpredictable, that eerie offshore feeling, but in 3 feet of water. So bring a boat, or 2. Bring a friend, or 3. Pack artificials, ammunition, and a good rum. Get wild. The marsh wouldn't have it any other way.
It's Louisiana. Just every day can be different, but what you'd like to see is 20 fish a day, all big ones, and nowhere else does it like this. I mean, sight fishing here is incredible. Water gets real clean. It's not as influenced by the river. It can blow hard. You can always find clean water.
So now you guys are both guiding here now, right?
Yep, both guiding here now. Jared, your first year?
Yep.
Yep, Jared's real legit first year. He came the year before.
Kind of fell in love with the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a 4th-generation guy from Key West. His whole family guides. His brother guides. His dad guides. And, he's young enough where he could get out of the Keys for a little bit and go check other stuff out. And I think it's really cool, for guys to be able to do that, get to experience something besides where they're at all the time.
A tale of 2 guides. One who looks back to the past, as the other looks ahead to a new career. Bear Holman knows the Biloxi Marsh, a second home for 20 years. That era is over. Bear is saying goodbye to his days as a guide in Hopedale, Louisiana. Meanwhile, Jared Sear is taking it on as a new challenge, a transplant from his home waters of Key West, much like Bear. It's a changing of the guard.
At home, we're fishing, inshore tarpon, permit, and bonefish, and here it's big reds and black drum, and trout, and just a little bit different, a nice change of pace. I've really enjoyed it. Sight fishing for big fish, it's definitely different because we're way out in the middle of nowhere. There ain't a whole lot going on if, fishing or hunting isn't any good. But, as far as if you're a sportsman and want to fish or want to hunt, this place is pretty hard to beat.
He's also learning the kind of life skills that one must have in the Mississippi Delta.
Jared's shucking them for his first time. How many generations of guides are you?
4th.
He's a 4th-generation guide.
Been in the Keys since the 1880s. But
1880s. We don't have oysters in Key West. And he's getting broke in proper. And he's doing a good job.
Located on Louisiana's Big Toe, Hopedale is southeast of New Orleans, a 2-hour run from Bay Boudreaux and Drum Bay. It sits amidst a batch of inlets, islands, and landmasses that have surfaced and submerged with each passing epoch. The Biloxi Marsh sits on the edge of the Mississippi River Gulf outlet. We are here for one main reason. This. The reason why anglers descend on this prehistoric puddle of grass. The redfish. A spitfire species that chews on whatever. The reds in these parts aren't picky eaters. I've heard about reds that would chase banana peels. These bronze fullbacks run up the marsh with one mission: to eat. It's not like it doesn't take skill, but once you've mastered that skill, it's more about the fight. Redfish test line weights like it's part of their DNA. That whiplash shake, those scaled shoulders. If Hopedale had its own flag, it would fly the rusted hues of a bull red. But first you have to get here. And it's not getting in your boat and turning the key. It's a trek that leaves civilization behind. In front of you is a landscape that appears deserted to the naked eye, but untold life lurks beneath the waterline. The marsh is not here for your convenience. It takes plenty of patience and petrol. You gotta wait, and not get tired of waiting. First, the road trip. 75 to 10 to 47 to 39 to 46 to 624. More numbers than a craps table. 500 miles of asphalt, dirt, and gravel. Once reaching Breton Sound Marina in Hopedale, it's on to the dogwood. It has lived many lives: Coast Guard vessel, river cruiser, and now mothership for hunters and anglers looking for a little cast and blast. 6 cabins, bar and lounge on the second deck. Don't unpack yet. The Southern Cross is where we're crashing. The 54-foot aluminum sport fisher isn't rigged for fishing, but for comfort and entertainment. The fighting chair on the stern has been removed, replaced with a big green egg. The Southern Cross makes a 35-mile run to a dock that has no place being there. If it were to be blown away, you would cry out of fear that humanity left you behind. From here, the bay boat is deployed into the marsh's tendrils. If you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, make sure you have everything you need. Tight water calls for a maneuverable boat. That's why the Yellowfin 24 Bay came along. On board, the Simrad NSS-12 Evo 2 combines a chart plotter, broadband sonar, and HD structure scan in one touchscreen unit. The Yellowfin is powered by a Mercury 350 Verado. The high-powered, compact outboard lets you stay versatile in the shallows. The Yeti Flip 12 is a soft cooler for hardcore conditions. Compact, leak-proof, and armed with a shoulder strap, your hands free as you wade through any situation. Penn's Carnage 2 and Slammer 3 provide stability and a robust drag system to slow the redfish train. The next level technology behind Spiderwire's fluorocarbon, superline, and monofilament means less breakoffs. Costa's sunglasses have heavy-duty polarized lenses for optimal clarity during the long days in the sun. A custom fiberglass replica by King's Sailfish Release Mounts is the perfect reminder of your storybook catch.
Why would anybody want to deal with the cold weather, the gnats, and every pterodactyl-sized mosquito in the marsh? It's one of the only places in the world you can catch 30, 40-pound redfish. On fly, sight fish them, 10 feet from the boat. I mean, there's nothing like it. The fish are monsters, and they're feeding machines. They swim around, all they want to do is eat, you know? So you don't really get refusals like you go to the Keys and, you know, fish for permit. You spend days trying to catch one. You come here, you're probably going to get one.
What Bear says about the daily routine of chasing reds turns out to be more than true. Plow the marsh. Move through the narrow passages. Look for the random PVC pipes and homemade hazard signs marking submerged trees and underwater wreckage. As the locals know, they're trying to tell you something. Hey, watch it. You might run into an oyster bar. That's where instinct comes in, and Bear and Jared are chock full of it. There's only so much that the sun and charts can tell you. We rely on Bear and Jared's sense to sniff out where the reds might be. Patrol the shorelines, troll the passages, and bingo.
Sounds good. Take a buddy fishing, folks. This is what happens. Woo! It works.
Halloween every day here.
Got another one.
Love the biggest.
That's what they're supposed to look like.
That's about as red as they get.
That's what we came for.
The marsh breathes life into the water. Small ponds to passages to midway channels and finally out into the open. As the size of the water increases, so do the fish. Using topwaters and spoons, we follow their wake. When they move, you move. Like any natural beauty, it's created over time. The marsh has been shaped in part by weather that changes as fast as a second hand on the clock.
There's a place where nothing grows, only dust on the stones, and no man's grave is its name.
If you own an insulated, foul-weather, windbreaker tank top, Hopedale is the place to break it out. The conditions continuously change. 4 seasons in 24 hours. In the morning, it's cold and gray. Everything's wet, even though it didn't rain. That's because everything around you begins and ends with water. The land you're passing barely qualifies as land. It's a soggy chunk of earth that hasn't chosen a side yet. By 10 a.m., you've dropped a layer. Then the wind picks up, the sun breaks through, and the fog burns off. A momentary paradise. 68 degrees and sunny, with 0% chance of staying that way. Rain makes unannounced cameos. As the sunset dissolves, a gunmetal gray storm cell rolls in. Overcast skies kill sight fishing, so it's on to blind casting close to the banks. Look for the V in the water, a red coming up to eat. They eagerly strike a wide variety of artificial lures, everything from soft plastics to topwater baits. And they love natural bait as well.
Caught them on cigarette butts, bear jig heads. You pretty much hit them on the head and they're going to eat it.
Yeah.
Grip and grins are just getting started. The marsh is stacked. Triples aren't fairy tales, and doubles are damn near standard issue.
It's gonna be a good day.
Look at that, boy.
Yeah, look at that one. Full red right there for you.
Yes, sir. Louisiana special. Yeah, baby. That's why we're here.
See you, buddy.
At night, there's time to kill. Literally, we murder time with 45s and plenty of ammo. Winchester 230 grain full metal jacket. Civilization is 60 miles away, so no noise complaints during target practice. One of the things that longtime guides like Bear have seen with their own eyes is the Mississippi River's delta erosion. According to the organization Restore the Mississippi River Delta, since the 1930s, Louisiana has lost about 1,900 square miles of land that have disappeared into open water. Recent catastrophes such as Hurricane Katrina and Rita exacerbated our coastal crisis.
Seeing a lot of stuff change. I think this place is resilient as can be. Unfortunately, I mean, islands that we used to fish are gone, and they're going away every single day, and that's something that's a reality, pretty soon.
So they got all the press from Katrina and also the oil spill, but
yeah, the day-to-day stuff's the erosion. Like the oil spill really didn't do much damage, really. Katrina, I remember the first day we went out on the water after it, and it was just mind-blowing what was gone. Really can't sustain a whole lot of big hurricanes, let's put it that way. We put a lot of ditches in here that didn't belong here doing oil field work and stuff like that. And, every little cut just turns into something that'll suck water out and make things go away, Hopefully God is good and this place stays the way it is forever.
To help with all these natural and man-made disruptions to the marsh, Restore the Mississippi River Delta has solutions such as reconnecting the river to its delta through land building and using the dredge sediments to build and sustain wetlands and barrier islands. All you can do is hope that the right heads and hearts prevail, so a natural beauty can not only survive, but thrive. Farther into the maze we go, chasing tails, boils, and bronze flashes. There have been some trophies, no doubt, but we want more.
So you find them all, you find none of them kind of deal,
we're looking for the mother lode.
We're looking for the mother lode.
The Biloxi Marsh's ponds, coves, and wetlands change from year to year. Add to that the visual sleight of hand. Shorelines mimic each other. Wait, weren't we just here? The waypoints you commit to memory start to blend together. Local knowledge is vital to exploring this ever-evolving landscape. Bear and Jared have 22 years of experience combined.
It's a special place in the world, man. There ain't nothing like Mississippi, the Delta, the whole thing,
I came up here originally to hang out and just do some fishing, and I fell in love with the place. It's kind of like home. It's a spot where you can sight fish, and the fish are big. Got me a big old redfish on. Just, the brute force behind them. They're just heavy, heavy fish. And they do big runs, but nothing crazy. It's just a lot of weight, Power. It's power.
Nice job, J-Red.
Good.
That looks like a big redfish to me, boy.
That girl.
Jared got him a good one. Nice redfish there.
In the late summer, reds spawn deep in the Gulf. In the winter, they pile up in the marsh to eat, lay low, and relax. You see, this is a vacation for them, a pit stop in their cycle of life.
They're here because of the Mississippi River, It's the Delta. This is where everything comes to.
These guys are offshore usually, off in the Gulf of Mexico, rig fish, whatever it is, anything sub 300 feet at least. And then all of a sudden they spawn, and then they come up in the shallows to feed.
There's so much life that pushes in here. They come in to rest and hang out, and they're just happy in the marsh.
Yeah.
They kind of grew up here, and they go and spawn and do their thing, and they just want to come back and be, cozy.
Yeah.
Buddy! Watch Jared land my 30 redfish. Oh,
yeah. Anchor.
How about you now?
Good job there, big bear.
I might not catch that many, but I catch big ones when I do.
It's one thing to be inside this grand panorama. That's special enough. But it's another thing to be here with friends, new and old. Who knew that escaping everyone is the best way to be around people?
It's really cool to be out there by yourself and not have anybody around.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what people are trying to do when we go and fishing. You know, we want to get away from everything and, you know, be out in the middle of nowhere. And that's cool to be able to just spend the night in the marsh. Like, we had a big fire burning. It was beautiful. You know, you're sitting there watching the fire burn, having a cocktail on the back deck of a boat in the middle of nowhere.
It's kind of like being almost like going to the hunting camp.
Yeah.
You know?
Just a one giant big ass hunting camp.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, one giant hunting camp, man.
You aren't going to end up here accidentally. There is no stumbling across the Biloxi marsh. It requires time and planning, but upon reaching that tiny dock, let the plan unravel and the possibilities run free with savage abandon. The marsh is a shapeshifter, acting beyond anyone's control. Maybe that's why we felt the impulse to do the same. For the sportsman, Hopedale, Louisiana is a blank check, as close to a sure thing as any fishery on Earth. You might actually come home with a fish story that passes a polygraph.